Now let's get to the last game, the game of the week. It was a shootout. I mean, I remember I texted Sweaty, he's putting it on right now. I put on for my city. You know, I texted, I feel like this game is going to be one to remember, and oh, it was. It was leading up to be, and unfortunately, Jaden Daniels got hurt. I was telling people today at church, I feel like if Daniels didn't get hurt, it might have been close, but I don't know. Milroe, you still can't say what Alabama didn't do was great. I mean, I hate it because, LSU fans are going to say, well, if Daniels would have stayed in, we would have won. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it might have been a shootout till the end, but
I don't think so. I gotta give Alabama a ton of credit here. Did he get injured in the fourth quarter? Yes, but Alabama was already up by 14 at that point.
I'm gonna tell you though, Milroe had an amazing game,
easily his best game. And granted,
both of them did. Both of them did.
And you still have to probably say that Daniels outplayed him because he's playing against a much tougher defense. I mean, LSU's defense is just absolute garbage, but this is definitely a huge confidence building game for a guy like Jaden Milroe to just go off and score as many touchdowns as he did against a weak defense. And the defense for Alabama, give them credit. I mean, LSU's only been held under 30 points one other time, and it was against Florida State. So, I mean, to hold them at 28 points, it's frustrating because at Alabama, we want to blow everybody out. We don't want them to score once. And to consider holding a team at 28 points a win, I know that's crazy, but considering just how insanely good that LSU offense is, it's a huge win. I do think that, maybe if Daniel stayed in, it probably would have been closer. Maybe a one touchdown difference.
I'd still say, and I'm not discrediting Alabama. I still think we would have won the game if Daniels was still in the game. I'm telling you, man. After we missed those kicks, and after that, I'll tell you, I think we both was on the same page because we called each other. After that first play, when Daniels just threw it down the field and burned it,
I was like, oh my God.
I was like, we're gonna lose this game. We're just gonna lose. It's gonna be one of those games. It's going to be a high-scoring, which it was, very high-scoring game. And also, we haven't even mentioned it, but kudos to J-Dub for calling the score.
He did, yes.
He called it 42 to 28.
He called the score exactly as it was, 42 to 28. And he was like, Sam, the score does not need to change. And I was like, why? I want to beat the crap out of him. And he's like, my score, this is what the score that I predicted. And sure enough, it stayed that way.
I thought I was about to get close to mine because, before Will Riker kicked the field goal at the end, it was 38. I was like, okay, if they score another touchdown, which I thought they was going to do, it'd be 38-35. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm about to get and then John took it away. Kudos. That was, y'all did good. I did terrible this week in my picks. Alabama, though, Daniels, let me ask you, though. Milroe, I'm not saying he's going to win the Heisman. I do not take that, what I'm about to say. But does he get in the race? Not even in top 5. Does he get in the top 10 with this performance?
I saw earlier he's currently 7th in odds to win the Heisman.
I don't know. That's high. That's high. I would put him like 10, maybe 9. But
I think if he continues to play well, then he might have a good shot at having a nice Heisman campaign next season.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
Right now, he's still forming into himself, and he has grown and matured a ton.
Well, I'll tell you someone else who grew today, and I'm going to give Tommy Reese his credit. I've never seen Tommy Reese this season adjust like he did and finally we all knew Milroe could run. Let him run. Let him run the ball. I mean, the man rushed for 155 yards on 20 carries, 7.8 yards average each carry. Let him run the ball.
Yeah, I mean, when he's using his legs, he is potent. And the play between Daniels and Milroe was eerily similar. I mean, Daniels, 15 of 24, passing 219 yards. Milroe, 15 of 23, 219 yards, and both rushed for over like 150 yards. Very, very tight game between the both of them. Obviously, Daniels is a much more talented quarterback.
I definitely think if Daniels didn't get injured, no matter the outcome, he had when did he got injured in the 4th, correct?
It was early in the 4th, like 13 or 12 minutes around that mark.
if he had 13 minutes left in the game and could pad his stats a little bit more, I think he would have jumped Penix for the Heisman. I mean, to have these numbers to not even play the fourth is insane.
Looking at it from without crimson colored glasses, that hit from Dallas Turner, is that targeting or is that a clean hit?
I don't think that was targeting. I don't think it
was targeting either. I think they kind of had to throw the flag because of how hard of a hit it was, and it being after the ball was thrown. I do think that it is close, but I don't think that he led with his helmet. It just so happened to hit his helmet.
And I'll tell you a foul. I'll tell you a penalty I saw today or yesterday that I thought to myself, okay, that is the worst call. I'm not saying this because I'm an Alabama fan. That false start on number 64.
What was that?
Was it 54 or 64? I don't remember.
I think it was 52, I think.
It was 52, that's right. It said false start. I mean, even when all night last night, by the way, what's his name? The referee announcer. What's his name? Gene Tessitore. Gene Tessitore.
Yeah.
He said 2 or 3 times, yeah, they made the wrong call. But hey, he said that a couple of times, like more than usual. Yeah, I don't know if I would have went with that call. They should have went with another one. It's just that was the worst call. There was nothing about that false start on Alabama. That should have been on LSU. You know, it's not even that big of a penalty, but still, it's just I don't know. And I'm gonna tell you, man.
Yeah, that one was ridiculous. And then the other one where it was like the late hit or the block in the back that pushed Terry on Arnold into Caleb Downs as Jaden Daniels was rushing, and then it called for like a 15-yard penalty, which resulted in like a 1st and 1. I had never in my life seen a 1st down and 1. Like that was weird to me. I did not understand what was going on with that. Overall, kind of a weird game in general. Glad it went our way.
It just was a very. I could definitely tell. I know it's gonna sound. I hope LSU don't take it this way. It just felt like the wind was taken out of the sail with Daniels. Like they got to get a quarterback next year because that I don't know how you pronounce it, but that backup's not the answer.
No, Garrett Nussmeier. If he's the Nussmeier that I'm thinking about, I guess he would be the son or related to Doug Nussmeier, who was offensive coordinator for Alabama for a couple of years during the 2012, 2013 years.
I gotta look that up because I'm curious now.
But that game to kind of end, that's the last game that we have on our list of college football games. We'll kind of talk a little bit now.
That is his kid. Apparently,
I figured
Doug is an offensive analyst, or he was for LSU. Well, he's actually now
so that must be why
he's the quarter. Oh, he never was. I thought he was. That's weird. My bad. He is the quarterback's coach for the Los Angeles Chargers.
Oh, okay. How about that? So in the NFL now. But moving on a little bit now, this game, Alabama sitting at 8-1. I saw earlier this morning, Alabama has a 29% chance to make the college football playoff. If everything goes right. And I've said before, Alabama does not control their own destiny right now. Just with the way that all the top 4 teams are, still being undefeated. You have to hope for some things to happen. And it probably will. Dominoes will fall. And a lot of people are saying that Alabama, if Alabama wins out and beats Georgia, you can't not put them in. But, I mean, if you have I don't necessarily think that's the case. I mean, I think, if it's a tight game between Ohio State and Michigan, you might still put the loser of that game in there.
There's a very
Texas
good
might still jump Alabama.
There's a very good possibility you'll have a 2 Big Ten versus 2 SEC this year. And that's what it's shaping up to look like this year. Because, I mean, if Bama wins out and beats Georgia, and then Oregon wins out and be a 1 loss, and Washington's a 1 loss, Texas is 1 loss, and Ole Miss they're not going to beat Georgia. But you got all those 1 losses. I don't know why you can't take Bama, who beat Georgia. I mean, I'm just being honest. I'm not saying that as a Bama fan, but that makes too much sense. And why would you not take an Ole Miss or Ohio State or a Michigan who's been dominant all season, and then lose by a close game? I would take it. I'd put 2 Big Ten versus 2 SEC personally.
Who do you think right now out of the top? Well, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do our top 6.
You know what? I'll do you one better. I can give you the top 10 right now. I'll name them off for you right now. I think 10 is going to be Penn State. I think 9 is going to be Ole Miss. I personally I think Alabama should jump Texas, but they're not. I'm gonna leave Bama at 8. I'm gonna put Texas at 7. Put Oregon at 6. Washington at 5. 4. We'll go Florida State. 3. Michigan. 2. Ohio State. 1. Georgia.
I like that. I like that. That's honestly exactly how I would put it right now. I do think that Alabama should probably jump Texas, even though they probably won't, just due to resume right now, and how Alabama has played ranked opponents.
I agree. I mean,
aside from Texas, I mean, the only reason that Alabama is behind Texas is because Texas beat Alabama.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason.
But out of the top, let's say 6 that you had there, who do you think is most likely to drop within the next few weeks?
Ole Miss and Penn State. Penn State's got to play Michigan, and then Ole Miss got to play Georgia. I think those two.
Let me within your top within
your top 6
right now. Yeah.
After watching them the last couple of weeks, I'm gonna go Washington.
I agree. I think Washington. It just feels like they're driving on a really, really, really narrow road right now.
No, I
really
agree.
Does.
I think Washington, and then I would almost go. I don't know, man. Oregon looks good. I don't know. I'm gonna go. Washington would be my team though, most definitely. I don't see anybody else. I think that, in my opinion, the most for sure lock is Florida State. I think that's the for sure lock.
No, I agree. Out of the top 4, who I think is honestly most likely to lose. Got scared by a ghost. Out of the top 4 most likely to lose, of course, aside from Ohio State and Michigan, because they're going to play each other.
Yeah.
I think Georgia's a lot more likely to lose than Florida State is to lose. Or Ohio State or Michigan to lose to a game not against each other.
If Georgia lose, I already think Georgia is going to be in the SEC championship. If they lose to Tennessee and to Bama, that's the most ideal thing, to be honest.
Absolutely.
If you're a Bama fan, I know this will sound crazy when I say this, you're a Tennessee fan. Because there's no way you can beat Georgia twice.